by approving the same. And that's the reason why I made the amendment.
Isaac Maura.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just concerned about the proposal as submitted by the committee concerning the membership of the...
Order, Maura. I propose then that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the committee. You may now make your contribution.
Thank you,
Madam
Chair.
I hope it is on clause 7.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the membership as proposed by this amendment, because it just talks about 7 other members, and I'm wondering whether it is prudent to just have 7 members without them being delineated on what really they represent to this organization. And I am, of course, informed by the constitutional provisions that require certain quotas be attained progressively, for example, for persons with disabilities. I don't know whether substantively that then can be addressed here, and also issues around youth, issues around women. I find it a bit arbitrary to confer such powers to the appointing authority without necessarily guiding the membership to this council. Thank you.
The Honorable Majority Leader, what's your intervention? Please give the leader.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, where the issue Honorable Maura is raising, we have already passed. It's under 6. It's about the board. It's a qualification board of the authority. I think that's what we have already passed. We are in a new clause 7.
No, this is not the new clause 7. It is just clause 7. No. We are on clause 7. Could you clarify, the Honorable Maura? I actually asked you, are you addressing yourself to clause 6 or clause 7?
Madam Chair, I am addressing myself to clause 7 as proposed.
Okay.
Because if you look at Roman 2B, is where they say the membership of this committee. Sorry, 1. And so I think that's why I have a problem. It's under clause 7, not 6. 6 is a very minor amendment.
Maybe the chair of the committee could clarify.
Madam Chair, I think the issue here that the Honourable Member is raising is relating to the issue of the qualifications for appointment. And if you look at the bill, the way it says, talks about especially you have to be a citizen of Kenya, B, holds a degree from university, and all those other, and D, actually satisfy the requirements of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. And I guess what the Honourable Member is saying is that perhaps the issue of the marginalized could have been left out. But I guess, Madam Chair, when these appointments are going to be made, I'm sure they are going to be, the Constitution will definitely be followed, which
the Constitution
requires
will
that,
be,
yes.
Yes, the Constitution will be followed because we cannot spell out everything in the statutes. So some of them may not be able to be, to be captured. Yes, Honorable Maura.
Yes, Madam Chair, I think it's important, but then I think this should also be seen as an enabling legislation to the Constitution, because already there are provisions in the Constitution, but then in what way, for example, would you measure progression of, for example, Section 54, Subarticle 2, of the 5% for example, for persons with disabilities, if you do not expressly, for example, provide that at least one member of the 7 appointed under this proposed change, for example, be a person with disability. I think to assume that the Constitution shall be followed is to leave too much leverage and leeway to the appointing authority, of which I think because of the competition and interest that arise from such appointments, some of these things actually fall through the cracks. Madam Speaker, I think it would be good to have such delineations. And
Allow Honorable Engineer Gumbo before the chair comes on.
Madam Chair, while I have no intention whatsoever of demeaning what the Honorable Mwaura is talking about, but surely 5% of 7 is half a person, less than half a person really. So sometimes I think we have to look at these things and have faith that the people we have entrusted, we look at these things, Madam Chair.
Yes.
If you are to build all these things, if we gave, for example, one person, as he says, that is more than 10% already. So really, I think it is good that as leaders of this country, we have faith in people we are put to manage institutions, that they will consider it at that time. But if you want to say that out of the 7 people, 5% must be people with disability, really you can't have half a person. And I don't mean to take to extend any offense or anything,
Okay.
but that's the reality. We have to have faith in people who run institutions.
Okay, the chair. I think the point has been made. Please allow the chair of the
please
committee.
let me appeal to my good colleague Honorable Mwaura, that actually the first and foremost thing that is being considered here is qualifications. Whether somebody is disabled or not is actually qualifications. It doesn't mean that if a disabled person has all these qualifications, you'll be left out. The first thing is qualifications, and then of course the others will be followed as we move on. So Honorable Mwaura, I would really like to appeal with you. And again, at the end of the day, Honorable Mwaura, these issues will also come before the House. They can be raised if the quotas that are required by the Constitution, including disability, is not there, it will be raised by the House.
Honorable Mwaura, we really cannot spend too much time on just one clause. Yeah, allow him a last comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think, Madam Chair, this is the why we are here to represent such interests, because we know very well that kind of approach, while I agree, is the one that has also not fulfilled some of these provisions. Madam Chair, when you say 5%, it is at least. I don't think there would be any problem to say at most. And this is a collective totality. We have an opportunity today to legislate so that we correct that which we may think was wrong before. And so therefore, I find it really an omission. There are general qualifications that you can delineate for whatever public office that we create by law. But I think because of that historical marginalization is why then you delineate, and that's why the Constitution provides. But then, while you would want to imagine that then a Constitution must be read together with these other enabling legislations to provide express provisions, then guarantees that kind of representation.
Okay, I think the point has clearly been made. So honorable, but as you said, it is, since it is in the Constitution, and when carrying out, you'll find that everybody refers back to the Constitution when actually going to do the actual appointments of members. So honorable members, I want to put the question that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the chair of the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the question that clause 7 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
I propose that clause 8 be part of the bill. There is an amendment by the committee.
Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, this one is simply a question of renumbering. It is just making sure that the numbers are following each other. So we just wanted to read that completely.
I therefore propose that clause 8 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that clause 8 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Therefore, put the question that clause 8 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Honorable members, will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 9, clause 10, clause 11, clause...
No? This is a new clause.
Yes. Please, we'll repeat that again.
Clause 9, clause 10, clause 11, clause 12, clause 13, clause 14, clause 15, clause 16, and clause 17.
I propose that the clauses as read be part of the bill. I put the question that the clauses as read be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 18,
I propose that clause 18 be part of the bill. Chair?
Again, Madam Chair, this is a question of wordings, and we just wanted to make it clear that the authority may designate a postal licensee to be a public postal license.
Okay. I propose then that clause 18 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Jamlek Kamau. I put the question that clause 18 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Jamlek Kamau. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the question that clause 18 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
clause 19,
I propose that clause 19 be part of the bill. The Honorable Chair of the committee.
Again here, Madam Chair, there was a feeling that indeed 1% was too much, because looking at the very maximum coming to about 1.2 billion as fines, which we thought were too excessive. We thought 0.2% would be reasonably okay, and the committee and the stakeholders agreed on it.
Okay. I therefore propose the question, which is that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the question that clause 19 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
clause 20,
I propose that clause 20 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 20 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
clause 21,
I propose that clause 21 be part of the bill. The chair of the committee.
Here, Madam Chair, the committee found that it is important for us to leave the authority as independent as possible, and therefore the authority itself will be mandated to make regulations with respect to cybersecurity.
I therefore propose the question, which is that clause 21 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that clause 21 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I therefore put the question that clause 21 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
clause 22, sorry.
I propose that clause 22 be part of the bill. The Honorable Jamlek Kamau.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. This one is the issue to do with the penalties, and the committee felt that the penalty of 5 million for a person who has actually attempted to access and secure unauthorized to some protected systems is actually too lenient. The committee thought to make it from 5 million to 10 million, but the jail term remains at 10 years.
Honorable members, I therefore propose that clause 22 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that clause 22 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Therefore, put the question that clause 22 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
clause 23,
I propose that clause 23 be part of the bill. The Honorable Jamlek Kamau.
Thank you, Chair. Again, here is a question of fines. And Madam Chair, here we thought that also suppressing traceability systems to alter authenticity or integrity of such a system is a serious offense. We thought 1 million was too lenient, and therefore the committee suggested we do 5 million, but again leave 5 years.
So it's a question of adding the amount. Honorable members, I therefore propose the question, which is that clause 23 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that clause 23 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I therefore put the question that clause 23 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 24.
I propose that clause 24 be part of the bill. The chair of the committee.
Yes, Madam Chair. On this one also is a question of regulations and making sure that the authority is as dependent as possible, and therefore the authority to have the powers to make regulations at this part.
Okay. I therefore propose that clause 24 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that clause 24 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I therefore put the question that clause 24 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 25, 26.
Order, members. Honorable Mbadi and group and Jacoyo, please. Can you carry the consultations elsewhere or participate in the very serious bill that is being passed in the House?
Clauses 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30.
Members, I propose that the clauses as read be part of the bill. I put the question that the clauses as read be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? I put the question that the clauses as read be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 31.
I propose that clause 31 be part of the bill. The chair of the committee.
Madam Chair, this one talks about the regulations concerning infrastructure sharing. We thought it was extremely important, and that one requires independence and a lot of it, and therefore we thought the authority would be better placed to do it.
Okay. I propose that clause 31 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that clause 31 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the question that clause 31 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 32 and 33.
I propose that clause 32 and 33 be part of the bill. I put the question that clauses 32 and 33 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 34.
I propose that clause 34 be part of the bill. Chair of the committee.
Madam Chair, this particular section was one which had a lot of issues, and we had to really consult widely. Finally, Madam Speaker, we actually got into an agreement between all the stakeholders, and we thought that coming up with a new authority, not authority per se, autonomous body, which, Madam Speaker, is being set up by this new particular section, that is the Multimedia Appeals Tribunal, would actually be the way forward, and the committee agreed on that.
I propose that clause 34 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that clause 34 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I therefore put the question that clause 34 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 35.
I propose that clause 35 be part of the bill. The chair of the committee.
Again here, Madam Chair, is a part that deals with the appointment of the Universal Service Advisory Council members. And the old laws were talking about appointment by the cabinet minister and the attorney general. So they just clean up, Madam Chair, and we were deleting C2 and then B.
Honorable members, I therefore propose the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I therefore put the question that clause 35 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 36.
I propose that clause 36 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 36 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 37.
I propose that clause 37 be part of the bill. The chair of the committee.
Madam Chair, this one deals with the issue of transition, and Madam Chair, we only added that according to the bill, it talks only about the former commission, but now we need to also put the former directors until the new board is actually formed. It's just a transitional clause.
Transitional clause. Honorable members, I therefore propose the question, which is that clause 37 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that clause 37 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I therefore put the question that clause 37 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 38, 39, 40 and 41.
I propose the question that the clauses as read be part of the bill. I put the question that the clauses as read be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 10A.
Honorable members, I propose the question that the new clause 10A Honorable members, honorable members, we'll read the schedule first before we get the new clauses.
Schedule.
I propose that the schedule be part of the bill. I put the question that the schedule be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 10A. Be part of the bill. Be part of the bill.
The honorable members, I therefore propose that the new clause 10A be part of the bill. We have an amendment by the mover, by the committee, on the new clause 10A.
Madam Chair, on this particular new clause 10A, we are talking about the issue of SIM card registration. And we wanted to make it illegal for someone to actually have an unregistered SIM card and the penalties thereof. And that's the reason why we came up with this new particular amendment.
Mm-hmm. I therefore... Irungu, did you have an intervention? Then No, it is the new clause. We are on new clause 10. New clause 10A. So if we have passed, we don't go backwards. Therefore, members, I want to. Which one?
Yes, Madam Speaker. Yes, I wanted a further clarification on justification on 27A because it is under 10A. And the reason I'm asking, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, is because I feel maybe the chairman can explain to us when a telecommunications operator sells a SIM card to a natural person, taking into account the kind of details that person is supposed to furnish the operator, will that entail production of an ID or a birth certificate or something? It appears it will be mandatory, and if that will be the case, what is the practicality of that requirement? Will it be practical, and will it entail diminishing the extent to which these entities can be able to rope more people into SIM cards in their own systems?
Okay, Chair.
Thank you. I think I can make it very clear to my good friend from Murang'a County. Madam Chair, on this particular one, what you're talking about is that we need every person to have their full names, their ID card numbers, their date of birth, their gender, whether male or female, their physical and postal addresses put there clearly so that every person every telecommunication operator can actually be able to see and know the person who's using a card, where he comes from, and all those kind of details. And this, Madam Chair, will really help a lot. If you remember the case of the recent Westgate attack,
yes.
Some people are using SIM cards which were not known, and therefore this is what we want to make sure that is actually illegal.
The majority leader.
Madam Chair, why this amendment is very vital. It's for the intelligence community and security agents, in case of what happened in Westgate, to trace the person through his name, through his physical address, through everything. And this is what actually happens everywhere in the world. Even we members, when we go around abroad and we want to get a SIM card, these are forms we fill.
Yeah. Maura?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just concerned about the provision for national identity cards and whether that is a little bit restrictive for certain categories of people, because, for example, if you are a foreigner and you are working here, maybe you have a work permit and you have a local number, obviously you may not have a national identity card. So is it possible then to say a passport, for example, also to add into this list? Because the national identity is only for citizens. Okay.
I thought, yeah. Yes,
yes, Madam Chair, on this one, what you're talking about is identity card number. Identity card can be anything, can be a passport, can be whatever it is. When we go out of the country and you need a SIM card, you have to actually produce your passport so that they can get that number. That is your ID for that particular purpose. So it can be anything.
Yes, I think it is subsumed. The choice of passport number or ID card number really should be either of those. Any number that identifies you, that is yours alone. Honorable members, I therefore propose the question, which is that the new clause 10A be read a second time. I put the question that the new clause 10A be read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the new clause 10A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 14A.
I propose that the new clause 14A be part of the bill. The Honorable Johnson Sakaja.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Chair, the objective of this amendment really is to create jobs for our young people who are involved in the films, the film industry and the entertainment industry, because we know a lot of our viewership on TV and also what we have on radio is comprised of foreign content. If you look at other jurisdictions, for example, Nigeria, where they have a very vibrant film industry, we have 60% local content mandatory and 80% on radio. So this is to make sure that we have 60% local content, and the amendment further specifies that this local content must be broadcast during the day. Once you do this, you will be able to make the industry improve in terms of quality of production and content. I have discussed this also with the committee, and the committee has proposed a further amendment to the amendment. Maybe Mheshimiwa Gumbo can raise.
Okay, is this in concurrence with the chair, with the committee? That this amendment has been...
The chair is in concurrent, but also, of course, the leader majority should be also as well.
Yes. Okay, and so the further amendment? Okay, the honorable members, before Honorable Gumbo comes in, I want to propose the question, which is that the new clause 14A be read a second time. The Honorable Gumbo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, we have discussed with the committee and the mover of that an amendment, and I wish to propose a further amendment that the proposed amendment by the Honorable Sakaja be amended further under subclause 3 by deleting the word 60 and substituting thereof with the word 45 and inserting the words and advertisements after the word programs in the third line.
Which then makes it, what is the...
And there's a further amendment, Madam Chair, that the provisions above to subclause 5, another subclause 5, the provisions above to take effect within 18 months of enactment of this bill.
Could you then explain what the import of your amendment? What does that make?
Madam Chair, the import of this further amendment, much as we want to create jobs for our youth, we are also alive to the fact, number one, the reason for the 45% is that there are also commercial interests that these broadcasting houses already have. But the reason why I've added subclause 5 is because we are aware that these broadcast houses already have existing contracts that they have that are ongoing. So we are giving them time to effect, at least so that these changes do not take effect immediately. We give them 18 months within which to make sure that they comply with this new provision.
Okay.
So I could probably then read the clause as amended, which is that a broadcaster licensed to distribute radio or television program services shall ensure that at least 45% of the programs and advertisements broadcast on radio or television on any given day comprise local content. Then clause 4, then I add another subclause 5, which says the provisions above to take effect within 18 months. Sorry?
You mean not later than or within?
Sorry, the provisions above to take effect not later than 18 months of the enactment of this bill. Not later than 18 months of the enactment of this bill.
And I want to see the concurrence of the chair. The chair of the committee.
Madam Chair, I am okay with it.
You are the owner of the bill?
Yes, yes.
I therefore propose the question that clause 14A be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Engineer Gumbo. I put the question that the new clause 14A be further amended as proposed by the Honorable Engineer Gumbo. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I therefore put the question. I therefore put the question, which is that the new clause 14A. as amended, be part of the bill? Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Sorry. New clause 34A.
I propose that the new clause 34A be part of the bill. The Honorable Chair of the Committee.
Yes, Madam Chair, the new clause 34A, yes, that's the one we're talking about, the Multimedia Appeals Tribunal, as proposed by the committee, and I think we had explained earlier. We're okay with it.
Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that the new clause 34A be read a second time. I put the question that the Honorable Maura, are you putting up? Are you requesting?
Thank you.
Honorable members, I therefore put the question, which is that the new clause 34A be read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I therefore put the question, which is that the new clause 34A be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose that clause 2 be part of the bill. The Honorable Chair.
Madam Chair, this one is about the definition of registration agent and SIM card, what they actually mean. So that is what is given there.
I therefore propose the question, which is that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the committee. I put the question that that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the committee. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I therefore put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose that the title be part of the bill. I put the question that the title be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose that clause 1 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The mover of the motion? Have you given?
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Kenya Information and Communication Amendment Bill 2013 and its approval thereof with amendments.
I will then put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its considerations of the Kenya Information and Communications Amendment Bill 2013. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Honorable members.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Kenya Information and Communications Amendment Bill 2013 and approved the same with amendments.
Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report.
I propose the question, which is that the House does agree with the committee in the same report. I put the question, which is that the House do now agree with the committee in the same report. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say no? The ayes have it. Over.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Kenya Information and Communication Amendment Bill 2013 be now read a third time.
I propose the question, which is that the Kenya Information and Communication Amendment Bill 2013 be now read a third time. The Honorable Simba Arat, you have no authority to cross from that side to the other. You must go back to the door. Please. Honorable Gumbo.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for giving me the chance. I want to thank our committee for working on this bill, the leader of the majority. But Mr. Speaker, I think the highlight of this bill really is that we are now attempting to look at, particularly when you come to issues of quality of service. In the past, Mr. Speaker, we have had a blanket fine of 500,000 shillings, which was pocket change to most of the network operators. And I think the fact that we would have liked, personally, I would have liked that the penalty be kept at 1%, but after being convinced, I think the 0.2% provision is good enough. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this is a good bill. It's going to improve telecommunications in the country, and I support, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to thank members of my committee who worked tirelessly. This bill was actually a very, very difficult one. And we really spent a lot of time on it, and I really give them all my thanks because they really did a good job. Mr. Speaker, we really had to go through very difficult times going through this committee. We had various discussions with various stakeholders. But finally, Mr. Speaker, we were able to actually come together as stakeholders, as the committee and all the relevant people who are interested in this bill, and came up with a consensus, which I think is what we have actually presented before the House today. Mr. Speaker, I really want to thank the media. The media, they have actually been very, very kind to us. I really want to ask the media that if we can be able to be sorting out these issues this way, where we can be able to sit down together as members of this nation, and where things are not going well, we can be able to rectify them and move on in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, I beg to support.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the amendments, but also to commend that information is a very critical, and communication is a very critical aspect of persons with disabilities. In fact, the lack of participation in development is largely because they are not able to get this information. If you look into context, issues of, for example, people who are deaf, if you look at the digital formats, and Article 6 and 7 of the Constitution requires that we have such provisions, and I think it is my prayer that whatever structures that have been established by this amended bill, that they are going to be more responsive, and even to compel, for example, media houses to communicate in manners, in a manner that would actually also have this information accessible to persons with disabilities. Mr. Speaker, I also support, because for the first time in the history of this republic, we've been able to capture a very important aspect of ensuring that people, it's mandatory now to be registered when one gets access to communicate using SIM cards. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very good bill, a bill that sets up a body that is free of the stakeholders, media, government, politicians, a bill that, a body that will regulate both the media and all other stakeholders. And I'm sure, I want to thank the committee and your office for making sure that a consensus has been reached in making sure this. But more fundamental, Mr. Speaker, amendment to the new clause 10A on the SIM card registration is very, very fundamental. I can say it is something that will help this country in the war against terror. You remember the people who did that heinous act in Westgate. They had telephones. They were calling people. They had SIM cards, but they never registered it. But now this law now makes sure that anybody in this country who sells a SIM card without following the due process of law will be liable. So, Mr. Speaker, and again, Mr. Speaker, now on a light touch. Now, you see, this is a very controversial and very good law, and members are not here. So, I mean, few members are here, majority of the members are not here, and I want to thank those who are here. The committee is here and members are here. But this house should have been more full than when such bills are being passed. And I want to urge my colleagues that these are the kind of law-making functions of Parliament, and I do support.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm not a member of the committee, and I want to thank this committee, Mr. Speaker, for the work well done. Mr. Speaker, initially when the discussion of this bill started, I think most of the stakeholders were very skeptical on the bill. And I really appreciate, and I want to thank the committee for the level of consultation which has taken place before we get to where we are. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this is really setting the pace in terms of how to come up with these bills and enact laws, where we bring on board all the stakeholders so that the kind of laws this House enacts are laws which are going to serve Kenyans effectively. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say thank you very much to this committee, and I think all the other committees could actually emulate this kind of way of working so that as a House we bring on board all Kenyans in terms of enacting laws. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the committee very much and the members present, especially for accepting the amendment that I brought. Mr. Speaker, that amendment for me is the highlight of this bill because it marks a new day for Kenyans involved in the film, in the arts, in the entertainment industry. Mr. Speaker, we know our young people in this country have immense talent. We have seen them, we have seen some of their shows, we watch them on Churchill show, and I'm sure even in the constituencies, in the villages, we see what young people can do. But for a long time, these young people have not been able to access coverage, either on TV or on radio. Mr. Speaker, now the bill that we have passed explicitly provides that at least 45% of the content that will be aired by a licensed broadcaster must be local talent, and also that local talent must be played between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. because we know that for a long time, a lot of this local talent, or rather the local content, is played after midnight, after 2 a.m., and for the rest of the day, we are only watching Alejandro, and we are watching Nollywood, Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I am confident that with the talent in this country, Kenya can compete ably with Nollywood, with Riverwood, and even we can use this to actually showcase the culture of this country. Mr. Speaker, in many other jurisdictions, in Canada, in Philippines, in Mexico, in Nigeria itself, they have 80% local content in radio and 60% on TV. In Israel, in South Africa, and that has attracted a lot of investment and has even made that the film and arts industry grow, such that South Africa has become the destination of choice for international movie makers. I think from this point onward, we are hopeful that Kenya will become the destination of choice. We have a lot more to show, and our young people can get employed and make a living out of the talents and the skills that God has given them. Mr. Speaker, I'd also like to point out that even the few local productions that have been making it have had the highest ratings. So those who had fears that for commercial interests, media houses would not want to show local content, if you look at the ratings, shows like Churchill Show, like Papa Shirandula, shows like Tasker Project Fame, like Tujuane, Taidi High, actually have the highest ratings. And if you look at these young men and women who participate in these shows, their lives have actually been changed. Some of them are now driving vehicles, they're earning, they're earning salaries, they're earning a livelihood, and really, we are growing the culture of this country. Also, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to point out that in economics, most times we say supply creates its own demand. Once this quota is already there, that there must be 45%, the media houses will actually invest in the industry, invest and co-produce with these young people to make sure that actually we have good quality. Because the issue of quality might come up and people might say we do not have the right quality. But this indeed is the first step. And I know that within the next 18 months, we'll have had enough investment in the music industry, in the film industry, and our young people can be able to walk with their heads high. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, we are happy that today we have passed this bill, and one of the reasons is because that it is now under the law, every customer who buys a SIM card is supposed to register. It is now a legal requirement. And also, the bill does away with the notion of hawking of SIM card. We have seen, for instance, this country, Kenyans suffering as a result of new emerging crimes, for instance, terrorism. And also, most importantly, Mr. Speaker, particularly in Murang'a County, we had situations where Kenyans or even people from my county being taken into hostage. We have several instances where people have been abducted, and communications or phones have been one of the key factors making that emerging crime to really escalate. So with a new enactment, it is now illegal for the police to go and request a service provider to disclose the information relating to a communication. Also, a criminal case or criminal proceedings may compel such kind of a service provider to disclose that information to an entity that is investigating crime. That is something that is very new in this country. Mr. Speaker, another key important issue concerning the new law is the introduction of a fund where various service providers are supposed to keep part of their earnings, keep some of their contribution into that fund. That fund I would foresee being used by the government to foster new ways, new communications entity, and therefore I am very happy today we have been able to go through this bill and is now on its way towards becoming a new law. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the Kenya Information and Communication Amendment Bill 2013 be now read a third time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say no? The ayes have it.
An Act of Parliament to amend the Kenya. A bill for an Act of Parliament to amend the Kenya Information and Communication Act 1998 and for connected purposes. Order number 9, motion.
Debate on that motion. Where was it? The Honorable Geshege was on the floor at the time of the adjournment of the House. He has a balance of 7 minutes. If he is present, he can utilize his 7 minutes. He being absent, not desiring to be present, any other member? Abbas Sheikh Mohammed. Mbandi John.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this motion. Mr. Speaker, when I took my time, and I thank God that I asked for extension of time to debate this report, I took my time to look at this report, Mr. Speaker, over the weekend and the better part of this week. And Mr. Speaker, it strikes me that when you see Kenyans involved in road accident, and you see people rushing, instead of helping them or saving them from that accident, they are busy removing money from their pockets. Mr. Speaker, you would understand why. Mr. Speaker, in 2004, and this is something that recurs after every 10 years, we had a serious famine in this country in 1994. We had serious famine in 1984. We had serious famine in 2004. Instead of the people put in position to ensure that Kenyans have enough food to feed them, Mr. Speaker, others see an opportunity to loot from the taxpayers. Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate the Public Investment Committee for carrying out this special audit and investigation and special report. Mr. Speaker, what is the genesis of this report? Looking through and reading through the report, you realize that there were about only 7 farms out of 81 which had picked the bid documents, which finally did respond to the bid. And out of them, Erad had the highest quote. But despite that, 5 farms were awarded approximately 40,000 metric tons of maize to deliver. But Mr. Speaker, did they deliver? One, you realize that Erad suppliers, Mr. Speaker, first did not even have the technical capacity in the first place. But more interestingly, even the financial capacity to be able to supply to NCPB. But Mr. Speaker, still, even though they lacked financial capacity to supply maize, having shown that their net worth was only 665 and in the negative 1,000 shillings, which brought question as to the going concern, still the people who are making decision, the people who are doing the tender evaluation, did not see anything wrong with this. Erad suppliers could not even afford to secure a bid bond, Mr. Speaker. Still, those who are doing tender evaluation went ahead and awarded them the tender. There was a requirement that for any farm to be awarded this contract, there was need to show at least 3 years previous experience in the tender document. That was a requirement. Mr. Speaker, this was not proved. Actually, Erad didn't have that. Even in terms of personnel. But where was the source? Mr. Speaker, interestingly, all the other farms quoted South Africa as the source of maize, white maize. Interestingly, Erad quoted Ethiopia. Mr. Speaker, this is something that was open plan to loot from the Kenyan public. Mr. Speaker, this House can only do justice to protect NCPB by passing this report. Mr. Speaker, I know there have been questions as to the rule of sub judice, and there are questions as to whether if the courts give award as a House, would we still go ahead and recommend that the government should ignore? There is a possibility, yes, that in the event that the Court of Appeal will rule in favor of Erad, then the executive would have difficulty in implementing this report. Mr. Speaker, to that effect, I would seek to bring an amendment to this report. And Mr. Speaker, I want to disclose that I have actually spoke to the chairman of the committee, the PIC, and we were in agreement that this would be a good amendment to avoid putting this parliament in conflict with the judiciary. And Mr. Speaker, if you allow me then, now I would move the amendment, and it reads as follows: that the motion be amended by adding the following words after the figure 2013, that subject to insertion of the words, in the event that the Court of Appeal rules in favor of NCPB, invalidating the entire transaction, the arbitral award and the resultant court decree before paragraph 17 of the conclusions in page 94 and paragraph 6 and 7 of the recommendations on page 96 of the report. Mr. Speaker, the import of this is to recognize that this matter is in court under the Court of Appeal, and also to show that this House respects the separation of powers and respects the court and the judiciary. And Mr. Speaker, then, if this amendment is carried, then in the event that the Court of Appeal rules against or doesn't rule in favor of NCPB, then those provisions which would require the executive to behave in a manner that is defined in page 94 and page 96 then become not tenable. That would not be tenable. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and ask this House that in order to avoid a conflict between Parliament and the judiciary, that we have this amendment carried, so that it is very clear that in the event that the Court of Appeal will rule in favor of NCPB in invalidating the entire transaction, that the arbitral award that was given to Erad and the resultant court decree, that those that payment should not be made, and that the amounts so far paid should be refunded by the recipients of the amounts. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude, if you allow me, by saying that this House has a duty. This House has a duty to protect NCPB. As we talk, the accounts of NCPB are frozen. Mr. Speaker, today, all the assets of NCPB have been attached. And Mr. Speaker, that is very serious. I have just mentioned the cyclical nature of famine in this country. Chances are, Mr. Speaker, we need to start thinking about it seriously. 2014 is another 10 years after the greatest famine of 2004. How will we help the disadvantaged members of this society, who will be affected and hurt it by famine, if NCPB is brought to its knees by greedy individuals in this country? Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that amendment and ask Honorable Kainan to second my amendment, just to show that actually the chairman of the committee is in agreement with me.
Unfortunately, your own rules, the Honorable Kainan, being the mover of the report, has already spoken. He is only allowed to speak in reply.
Fine, Mr. Speaker, I thought this was, the Honorable Gumbo is ready to second, but I thought this was an amendment.
The same rules apply. The Honorable Gumbo is the one seconding, is it? Now, the rules are that now, in this case, the Honorable Gumbo does not lose his chance to contribute to the main motion.
Thank you, sir.
Because now he's only seconding the amendment.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I second.
Honorable members, before I propose the question, I needed to see this report, because the Honorable John Bandi proposes that the motion be amended by adding the following ones after the figure 2013, but does not say on which page. So 2013. So that it will read that subject to insertion of the words. Sorry. Oh yes, the motion will now read as follows. That this House adopts the special report of the Public Investments Committee on the contract between the National Cereals and Produce Board and Messrs. Errand Supplies and General Contracts Limited for the supply of white maize laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 22nd October 2013, in the event that the Court of Appeal rules in favor of the NCPB, invalidating the entire transaction, the arbitral award, and the resultant court decree before paragraph 17 of the conclusions in page 94 and paragraph 6 and 7 of the recommendations on page 96 of the report. And that is the proposed amendment. I hope members are able to follow. Now, honorable members, sometimes because it is a little bit of technicality, including the reports by our media, it is important that we appreciate the point that was made by the Honorable John Bandi. The effect of his proposed amendment is, especially as it relates to recommendations, yes, recommendations in paragraph 6 and 7, page 96 of the report. Recommendations number 6 and 7 read as follows: that Messrs. Errand Supplies and General Contracts Limited and the individual directors, namely Mr. Jacob Juma, Honorable Major Retired John Waluke, and Grace Serape Wahungu, should fully compensate the government of Kenya through the NCPB an amount of shillings 313 million and any other monies received following the execution of the arbitral award and litigation in line with Section 51 and 54 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act 2003 and any other relevant laws and principles of law, including that of equity. That is paragraph 6. And 7, the government should not pay Messrs. Errand Supplies and General Contracts Limited or any of its directors, namely Mr. Jacob Juma, Honorable Major Retired, John Waluke, and Grace Serape Wahungu, and any money arising from the alleged breach of contract by the National Cereals and Produce Board. So this amendment is to the effect that in the event that the Court of Appeal rules in favor of NCPB, invalidating the entire transaction, that is when this recommendation will take effect. It is automatic, but it is important that I make it clear. It is not everybody, I don't think it was clear to everybody that it was automatic, but it will be the natural consequence. Should the appeal go in favor of the NCPB, then obviously all monies paid so far would have to be recovered. That's the net result. But in the event they lose, then this recommendation will not hold sway. I hope now we are clear. Yes. So can we have a few more contributions on this? Or can we put the question? The Honorable Ali Wario.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm lost. I put through Standing Order 89-3D yesterday and tabled a court decree proving that this matter is before a court of law. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm asking you for your indulgence through Standing Order number 1. Is this amendment not a clever way of going round the ruling I'm anticipating, the ruling I'm waiting from you? Because the purpose of this amendment is to preempt that this thing is before a court of law. In the likely event the court decides this way, Mr. Speaker, sir, Do we first get the ruling of my concern yesterday and then contribute to this? Or do we contribute to this and wait for your ruling?
We contribute to this. Yes, Honorable Mahmoud.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think the import of the whole report is to find persons and companies that have done what has been done culpable. The import of this amendment is to say that having said all what you have said, because the matter is in court, let us make no recommendation as regards the company and the persons. So in fact, it's as if we are saying, let's do nothing. So what are we debating?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the amendment is not in tandem, and we are thinking of the House, because basically we're anticipating a debate that is going to take in the High Court or in the Appeal Court.
Sorry,
and
sorry,
we're not sure.
There's nothing like that in our rules.
Yeah,
there's nothing like anticipating debate in a court of law in some funeral. No.
No, but you are
let us deal with what is here.
Because
let us not. There is nothing about us anticipating a debate in a court of law.
No.
Courts of law are never venues for debates.
Mr. Speaker, the amendment is speculative. Honorable Bandi moved that amendment. It's really speculative, because he's saying if the court of law decides on this and decides on the other way, that means we are going to follow this rule and that rule, meaning that he's not aware of what's going to happen in the Court of Appeal. So I think it's not in the interest of the House to debate even the amendment itself, and I think it's out of order.
I can't hear what you're saying. I did not hear what you said.
Mr. Speaker, I'm saying that Honorable Badi is anticipating a debate in the Court of Appeal, because he is saying that in the event that the Court of Appeal decides on this matter in whichever way, that the recommendation will be followed after that appeal has been, the verdict has been made. So I think that it's not in the interest of the House to debate that amendment, because we're anticipating a debate in a court of law. So I think it's a sub judice, and it's out of order. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thought you were very clear when you explained. Because, Mr. Speaker, as the controversy even raised by Wario in the last few days was that we seemed to be telling the court something, that the court, we were saying the government should not pay against the wishes of the court. And we were very uncomfortable with that. Speaker, my understanding of your explanation is that we are not telling the courts what to do anymore, but we are saying, based on the circumstances on this report, we are saying, should error be found, or should, let me put it simpler, should NCPB win the case in the Court of Appeal, then we are saying, instead of it coming back to us, we are already making a recommendation that the people who have been paid some monies must pay back NCPB. To me, it is just that simple. We are not asking the court to make any recommendation, whichever way they make. And I think you have also said in your own words, Mr. Speaker, that should ERAD win, should the court uphold the lower court's ruling, then ERAD, nothing will happen. It is none of our business, because the courts are free to do what they're doing. And I think, to me, that is satisfactory. What we are saying, because this thing, we are dealing with colossal sums of money. We are doing our duty as parliament. We need to say that if somebody is found culpable, you must pay the public. I think that was my understanding, Mr. Speaker.
Precisely. And that we know for a fact it does happen, members. We can't just bury our hands in the sand. That it is quite possible, it does happen from time to time in government, that the government agencies will go win cases and they don't even bother. So what you are recommending that is that should you win, then you have an obligation. Parliament is telling you, we don't want to revisit this matter. Make sure you get back that money. The matter so that our own committee on implementation will be following up that should you win, if you win the appeal, then whatever monies that have been paid, you must recover. So the matter does not have to come back to Parliament. That is the net effect of this proposed amendment. Is it understood? Is it understood? But I wish to also draw the attention of the House to the fact that the Honorable Ali Wario has also a number of proposed amendments, and I think as soon as we dispose of this one, we will go to listen to his proposed amendments as well, so that then we can go back to the main report, either amended or as in its original form. What is his point of order? Honorable Junet.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wanted your guidance on this matter also a bit. Mr. Speaker, we have said that the amendment that has been proposed by Honorable Mbadi, it is as much as we are trying to cure the issue of later what happens when the court ruling. But now in our debate, it confirms that we are discussing a matter that is in court also. It's a confirmation that this matter is in dispute and is in court. It will confirm on record, Mr. Speaker. I wanted your guidance on that, Mr. Speaker. And the other rule of sub judice now.
I also guide you this way. We are also alive to some report that somebody purports to even injunct the Parliament from doing what we are doing. We cannot fail to do that. We are not going to discuss the substance of the case. We are not going to discuss the substance of the case. In any event, I don't think whether anybody has the copy of the memorandum of appeal and the various allegations contained in the memorandums. So it is just to acknowledge that there is a case. That's all, that there is a case involving this, not the merits or demerits. The Honorable Ali Wario, you want to?
Yes, George.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, nimesimama kuchangia marekebisho yaliyoko mbele yetu kwa hii hoja. Mheshimiwa Spika, tumetoa mwezi 6 kamili kwa kamati ya PIK. Kamati ya PIK imekwenda ikatuletea ripoti. Kwa masikitiko kubwa, Mheshimiwa Spika, imeamua kampuni fulani isipewe kazi na nyingine ipewe kazi. Baada ya sisi kusema hii ni kazi ya mahakama, leo tunaletewa marekebisho kuambiwa sasa tumeleta marekebisho hii ili koti ikiamua kwa manufaa ya NCBP hii ifanyike. Swala nyeti ni moja, Mheshimiwa Spika. Je, koti itakapoamua kwamba Iran imeshinda, marekebisho haya yana maana gani, Mheshimiwa Spika? Kwa nini tunapoteza muda ya Wakenya, Mheshimiwa Spika? Kwa sababu haya ni masuala ya mahakama. Tunaambiwa ikiwa koti itahukumu kwa manufaa ya NCBP. Je, kama koti haijahukumu, maana ya hii marekebisho ni nini, Mheshimiwa Spika? Hii ni moja, Mheshimiwa Spika. Nguzo tatu ya serikali: nguzo ya bunge, mahakama na utawala. Bunge inatunga sheria, utawala inatekeleza sheria. Kama kuna ugomvi, ndio mahakama inakwenda kutatua matatizo yale. Leo bunge itachukua wajibu wa utunzi ya sheria, bunge ndio itahukumu baina ya ERA na NCBP. Bunge, Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa heshima yote, mimi naona tunavuka mpaka, kwa sababu tunazungushwa hapa. Wanayopiga hisabu hii wanajua wanafanya nini. Mheshimiwa Spika, mwezi 6 sisi tumetarajia ripoti ambayo itatupa mwongozo. Mwezi 6
waliotengeneza ripoti ndio wanaongoza kuja kukosoa ripoti yao wenyewe. Ikiwa wenyewe wanakosoa, Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi tuna wajibu wa kuitupa, kwa sababu wenyewe hawana imani na ripoti yao, Mheshimiwa Spika. Mwisho kabisa, Mheshimiwa Spika,
That is on a point of order.
Mwisho kabisa,
finish contributing. He is opposing the amendment.
Mwisho kabisa,
it is good also to hear the other side.
Mwisho kabisa, Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna mzozo ya NCBP na Herald mbele ya bunge ya Kenya. Bunge haiwezi chukua sehemu moja. Mahakama inaangalia haki ya Herald na mahakama itaangalia haki ya NCBP, Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini hapa tunapewa mwongozo. Jiulize swali moja. Kampuni iliyoko hapa imeletwa mbele yetu ni 7, Mheshimiwa Spika. Hizi kampuni zingine ni za nani? Tumeambiwa Herald ni ya nani? Wenyewe wametajwa, Mheshimiwa Spika. Mahindi iliyoletwa ni metric ton 70,000. LC imesainiwa kwa hawa. Saa hizi hatutaki kusema hii, tunaweka hii chini, tunaambiwa shetani mkubwa ni Herald. Mheshimiwa Spika, bunge ina haki ya kuangalia haki ya kila Mkenya, na wajibu wa kuangalia haki ya Herald, haki ya NCBP ni wajibu wa mahakama, si wajibu ya bunge. PIC isitupeleke sisi kukua koti ndogo hapa ndani. Kwa hayo, Mheshimiwa Spika, nimesimama kupinga mapendekezo haya.
Honorable members, I think, as you know, the motion, I want to put the question, which is that the motion be amended by adding the following ones after the figure 2013, subject to the insertion of the following ones, in brackets. In the event that the Court of Appeal rules in favor of the NCPB, invalidating the entire transaction, the arbitral award and the resultant court decree before paragraph 17 of the conclusions in page 94 and paragraph 6 and 7 of the recommendations on page 96 of the report. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the court of opinion say no? No. The ayes have it. Those in opposition must be 30, eh? Just count yourself, see whether you have reached the threshold. You are 21, you don't reach the threshold. You are 21, you don't reach the threshold, so the motion is carried.
Yes, the amendment is carried. So you go back to the motion as amended.
Honorable members, the number that you did not get the threshold, you are 21, you are required to be 30. So the amendment is carried. And now we go to the Honorable Simba Arat. You know, I know you are very active, but please exercise.